Okay, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Excuse me. Uh, so let's get started. PPI data came out, and it's no different than what I showed you yesterday with CPI data. You're going to go to the Bureau of Labor and Statistics.gov website or BLS.gov, Bravo, Lima, Sierra.gov/PPI, Papa, India. And then you're going to look here at you'll get the blurb on the release. So PPI for final demand rises 0.2% in March, slightly elevated. Services increase 0.3, goods decline 0.1. So really not much to shake the consensus for what we saw yesterday. What we saw elevated yesterday in terms of data. And then with that was the release of the jobless claims, unemployment insurance weekly claims, which is found on the Department of Labor, DOL, Delta Oscar Lima .gov. And then you'll get this PDF spit out, and you can just go right through it and see what was what. I believe they give you the blurb at the top, the TLDR, too long, didn't read, short of it right there. But honestly, I really think that you're going to just see repricing in the markets because of the expectation of the rate cuts diminishing after yesterday's data. And this data isn't enough to convince otherwise. One could be optimistic enough and say, well, there's a slight chance of hope here, but we got to see. We have to see consistency across the board with the data. So that is really that. Jobless claims, PPI data coming out. And now let's go to our crypto heat map. Markets are open. Doing this video when the markets are open, I think that's pretty valuable. Just kind of see where things are at in both equities and crypto. Even though crypto's 24 hours, equity markets obviously trade on U.S. Standard Time of 9:30 Eastern Standard Time of 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. So let's just jump right into the total. We're hanging out here at this Fibonacci level of 2.5 trillion for the overall crypto market cap. So we are hanging out here at this level. Again, it looks bullish. Boom, boom, boom. And then, we can kind of pop up maybe. But let's see how much popping we do. Right now it looks kind of bullish, but if we start to close below, I'm looking at a daily chart. If we start to close below this yellow line here, which is the 20, then, we're going to start making our way back down to at least the 2 trillion market cap number. And then obviously for the altcoins, we're going to see if we can get to 800 billion in market cap value. But keeping an eye on that, we're very close to 710 billion in terms of like a pullback potential. And we have wicked past that in the past. Really what I'd be looking out for is holding around this level at 688, because then that would say we're going to head towards 610. And obviously something has happened to cause that downward trend. And on the monthly, it's looking like it's overdue for a pullback anyway, especially with all this. So pain could be coming very soon. I still hold out what I originally said months ago. The monthly is showing a double bottom here. So we go down, go up, go down, go up, and we go up. And this will be our new floor support, 1 trillion. Our prior high will be our new floor support, but all this will take time. So that's the overall crypto market. Let's get into Bitcoin. Bitcoin, still doing its thing. Really nothing to report there. Really at this point, waiting until the halving. The halving is not far away. The 19th is the halving. So we're just going to see where Bitcoin's at the halving. If we're retesting all-time highs here at the halving, like I said, I expect us to drop down to 57. This is all based on historical on-chain data. And then we trade sideways, and then we run up. So wherever we're at when this halving happens, I'm expecting at least a 22% decline. So if we're like down here, then I'm just going to move this lower, which brings us down. That'd be interesting because then we'd be close to our realized network value price. Then we trade sideways, then we go up. And that move up is going to be pretty big based off historical data, if that makes any sense. Ethereum, we are in the same kind of boat with ETH. Just hanging out here, Bitcoin and ETH move in conjunction with one another. So that's that. The S&P's open. Again, guys, let's see how we close today. Let's take a look at a more active chart here since the market is open. And the SPY, the S&P, yeah, really a lot of chop right now. Nothing really happening. I'm just looking at the daily closes on this. Do we close above or do we stay below? Remember this candle, big bullish, bearish engulfing, bearish engulfing. And we have yet to retest that. So we'll see. Same thing with the Nikkei. I mean, the NASDAQ, not the Nikkei, and what have you. The Nikkei, let's take a look at the Nikkei. I haven't looked at it in a few days. That double top, let's see what it looks like here. That double top, this perfect double top here on the Nikkei. Wow, it's playing out. So again, double tops, boom, down, and then boom, this is the peak, and then we trade down. So we'll see how far we trade down. I put maybe 33,000 on the Nikkei and go from there. Japan's data came out, what was it, last week or yesterday? And I never got a chance to look at it. But this chart here is saying a lot to me. So we'll see how we close the month here for the Nikkei, the month of April, because we are setting up for it's not really, it is and it isn't. I mean, this would be an engulfing over the body. So if the body engulfs this, if we close around here, then that would be a bearish engulfing pattern on the monthly, which would signal that multiple months following we'll see a decline. The VIX, so let's see what the VIX is doing live. The VIX is holding. It's in that wedge. It's in this wedge pattern here. So this is really good for the VIX and what I'm expecting in terms of volatility and where we're headed. We squeeze and then we go up. So we'll see if it plays out. That's what I'm expecting. ETFs, nothing really to report there. Like I've stated before, when these roll over, they'll roll over. Got a lot of gap to fills on the daily, and eventually the gap's got to fill. So despite all the inflows, the inflows that have been happening with these ETFs, same way there's price discovery with a new release of a company going public or an ICO, you have inflow discovery as well. So you got to think about that too. What's the sustainable number for all the inflows happening on chain? And that's what we're seeing now. We're looking at here. Let's take a look at this. Let's see, just from a technical perspective. So we got this right here. Then we have this right here. Okay, so this is kind of like a wedge pattern I'm seeing here on the daily. So we'll see how we squeeze with this flag pattern. I don't know if you can see it. It's a flag pattern. You guys can tell me what kind of flag pattern in the comments that you're seeing. And please like and subscribe to the video. If you like this content, if you like what we're doing at My Tech Academy, definitely like the videos at least. Helps a lot. Goes a long way with the algorithms. But you can see here a flag formation, and we'll see how we grind and trade within this before we have to break out from it. And that's with IBIT. The other ones are forming the same one. If you can kind of just visualize, Fidelity's doing the same thing, and then Van Eck HODL is doing the same thing. Literally the same looking charts. Now let's get to some TA for this. So CarMax reported lower used car sales, which is why they had a huge gap down. And let's see if this gap down is enough to warrant any kind of position play here. So let's go all the way back out. Okay, so right here is where we're at. Let's look for our inflection. So we're getting really close to inflection. I'd say this is the inflection point right here on this, because we tried, tap, broke through, and then tapped, broke through, came back, broke through, came back, broke through. So we got a few levels, but I would call this inflection here. Put I there for the inflection point, and we're actually at that level. So it was at that level, and I believe it bounced off of it. Yeah, so it bounced off that critical level of support, which is $69, and it's back up. Had a little nice dollar move, dollar and some change, $1.50 move here on the intraday. See what it looks like on the 5-minute. See what it looks like. I don't know what the float is on this, nor do I know what the volume is on this, because that'll be really important. The volatility. Okay, so it's grinding up to this 71.21 here intraday. It could potentially hit this and then come back down. But it started up here at 74 intraday, and before the earnings, it was at 79. I mean, it really fell hard though, from 88 all the way down. So used car sales, but looks like there could be an opportunity, a nice little bounce play on CarMax. So definitely look at the financials, see what's going on before investing, if you choose to invest. STZ is Constellation Brands, so like beer and Corona and anyone who really enjoys alcohol. They reported, earnings, and I believe the alcohol sales helped it. So this is the inflection on this one here. Inflection, and it opened up 274, came back down. So this may run a little bit. You got varying levels of support, 256, 248. But this is the inflection point here. So Constellation Brands reported good earnings. So it could be something, if you guys are into that, may want to invest. Just wanted to share it, and what have you. So now let's get to some TA for some real world assets. We have the first one is MakerDAO. And if you're not familiar with Maker, MKR is the symbol, Mike, Kilo, Romeo is the symbol. They're in the DeFi space within crypto, and they explore RWA, real world asset tokenization, through its DAI stable coin system. DAI is a really good stable coin. It's roughly 5 billion, I believe, in liquidity. And so they do this though with DAI, Maker, leveraging real world assets as collateral. So that's kind of Maker's shtick here. And I can go in depth. If you guys want to deep dive into Maker, let me know. I'll gladly put that together, showing you guys the real world asset applications of what they're doing with their stable coin and their platform. Maker here has pulled back. I think the assault on DeFi with Uniswap was probably the cause of it. And that's what we're seeing here. But, I'm seeing potentially an opportunity. It could get back up to 3,400. And then if it doesn't hold above that, then we're looking at $2,700. That would be a nice point to maybe layer in some and then wait and see from there. But Maker is a really good project. It's one of the first, it's one of the old heads, the OGs in the space. And yeah, MakerDAO, real world asset tokenization, Maker. So be on the lookout for that. I actually have a big list of real world plays that I'm still filtering out. Some of these are tradable, some of these are not. They're not on CoinMarketCap at all. But I'm just compiling a list to show that this is happening, this is growing. And even some projects in the crypto space that are that might not look desirable, these type of real world assets, decentralized infrastructure plays, etc., are going to be the next narrative, I feel, in the next few years. I know AI is the narrative now, but I'm trying to look out, 2-3 years ahead. And that's what I'm seeing more of now. So I'm just trying to compile a list with that. The next one, the final one, is Centrifuge. And whoo, look at this chart. My gosh, look at all these wicks. So Centrifuge, CFG, this is also a real world asset project, RWA. And they do this. They allow asset owners to tokenize their assets on the blockchain to unlock liquidity for these real world assets. So, and this is obviously to get financing or any kind of collateral in the DeFi market. They can leverage this as collateral in DeFi markets with their platform. So if you want me to do a deep dive on Centrifuge, let me know. Like I said, this is another player in the real world asset space with credit as well, bringing it all to the blockchain. You can't, when you're talking about real world asset plays, the tokenomics are one thing, yes. And obviously you want to look at the price, but you really have to understand the product. In My Tech Academy, show you right here. In My Tech Academy, we have a course taught by myself on basically product, customers, and founders. Founders, product, customers. It's a crypto fundamentals analysis course. And you got to really look at the product. Don't get, you see this price, and this price can obviously represent opportunity or not. It could represent something being overvalued, but until you understand the product, until you understand the team behind the product, and until you understand the target market audience, and their target market, both in the same, you won't know. You'll look at prices, and you can't, when you're looking at my opinion, when you're looking at real world asset plays, you can't solely go off of the price, the TA. This has to play into your evaluation, but this isn't what you go off. It's not like a meme coin. I can look at Dog with Hat or Doge and just TA it all day, and yeah, it makes sense. But for projects like Centrifuge, like Maker, I'll give you another one here. Oh, that's how you spell it. That's right. There you go. Helium is another one. This is another project that is eventually going to probably go way high, probably after it comes down, but this is decentralized infrastructure here. So this is really a good play, but you got to understand what's going on. Here's another one. Where's it at? Honey. You guys about this? They have a physical product in their drive around product with their Hive Mapper, decentralized maps. That's part of decentralized infrastructure. So you know, this price being at 12 cents, you know, what's really the value on this? Because they're selling an actual product and they're serving a need. So this is going to be a combination of like real world assets on the blockchain. So this is what you need to be looking at forward thinking when it comes to these. I mean, there are many more. Like I said, the ones I just shared with you, Helium and Heatmap, they're on my list, and there are a few more as well. I got at least like 10 or 15 here that I'm compiling, looking to get more, and then doing my due diligence on it. But when you're looking at real world assets on the blockchain and you see on Centrifuge, man, this is 71 cents, you know, etc. Understand the product and see where they're at with it. So let me know if you want me to go into a deep dive with this. Join our community. And yeah, we're active. And hope you guys have a good Thursday and happy investing.